Hi there. Thank you for joining us on Disney Park Talk Live. My name is Doobie. You can see the crew here with me. We'll be introducing them in just a moment. We're just waiting for the mainstream over there on today's Disneyland 65th birthday celebration marathon to end their discussion about pre-opening
report
Disneyland from 1955. So they're going to end in just a minute, and then we will join the mainstream, and we will get going with the show proper. Until then, you get this bonus coverage of seeing Jeremiah and his mouse ears.
That are slightly
Mike, are you sporting a Disney shirt there?
Oh, it's a Muppets shirt because I was interviewing a Muppet earlier.
That counts. What and Shelly in with the Disney thing on her right shoulder. Oh wait,
cruise line.
The best part of any Disney is that cruise line right there.
I thought it's the Skyliner.
So we should do a watch along of their watch along.
That's a good idea.
I will tell you, I watched the pre-opening report this morning, and I haven't watched it in a few years. And I forgot that the first 20 minutes is amazing, and then the other 40 minutes is Walt talking about different Mickey cartoons throughout the years, and then an Alice in Wonderland commercial.
It is the classic baby switch, isn't it? Yeah.
It is. Sure. I feel like my ears are always crooked. Or it's my head.
Your head is always crooked. So Jeremiah today, just to give you a preview, he's been at the parks. The only one of us that has been, well, I shouldn't say the other one. I forget about you, Shelley. The only one of us who works for LP and has been in the parks. So we're jealous, and is on this podcast. So by that strict criteria.
That is a lot of fun.
I'll be in Knott's Berry Farm tomorrow.
I know, and Jeremiah's going to Busch Garden tomorrow, right?
Yep, and Shelly may be going to Busch Garden tomorrow.
To see if I can get everybody on the boat. Come on.
No, we don't have to take a boat out there. We just drive. It's Tampa.
I have to let Benji know that he should tell me about 2 minutes before they end, not 6. But we're still waiting. I hope you're enjoying our little thing today. It's the first time we've tried anything like this. It was my idea, and it was my bad idea. Let me correct that, because it's a lot of work. And, I knew it'd be work. I didn't know it'd be this much work.
So, Doobie, can't you do a catch-up of your favorite commercials right now? You could play number 12 again.
That's a good idea. Let's play number. That's a great idea, Jeremiah. Oh, they just finished. We're live.
Yay!
We're live on the main channel now, and now Benji tells me we're done. Thank you, Benji. We're live on the main channel. We are here to do an edition of Disney Parks Live, as we call it. We do this about once a week. It's always live. It's always just like this, but this time it's special because it's a part of the Disneyland 65th birthday celebration marathon. I should really write that down, right there.
Did you just have a stroke, Doobie? Are you okay?
I'm okay. Wow, I'm a little tired. That's okay. We're about a quarter of the way through this thing, so basically done. Let's see. Let's do some quick introductions. My name is Doobie, co-founder of Laughing Place. To that side is Jeremiah. Your official title, I believe, is head of water fountain coverage in Central Florida right now. Down below me is our special guest, Shelly. She does not officially work for LP, but as much as she's been doing these, she basically does. And right over there is Mike Celestino. What's your title, Mike? You can do your own.
Southern California something.
And Star Wars. And Star Wars something else.
Something else, yeah.
Right. So thank you. If you are watching this, you probably like Disney travel. So let me remind you of our sponsor today, Mouse Fan Travel. Can't recommend them enough for taking care of you, especially at a difficult time like this when things are in flux. So with that, let's get started. We've got some breaking news that we're going to cover real quick. Thank you, Jeremiah, for mocking me. Do I have the right thing here? I do. So just today, just a few minutes ago, there was some further announcement on Disneyland's Vacation Club Resort that's going to be built near the Disneyland Hotel. There's a quick look at it. They submitted paperwork to do permits or to get permits to do some construction. We're going to talk about that a little bit more at our Laughing Place podcast. which will be live on this stream at 6 o'clock. So tune in there for some more talk. We're just going to touch on it briefly here. You can see where it's going to be at on property. I'm not sure we knew that before. Jeremiah, can you kind of describe that location?
We had a hint of this when they first announced it, that it was going in that area. If you've been to the Disneyland Hotel in the past 20 years, you may remember that that's where the Horseshoe Waterfalls used to be. If you've been in the past 25 years, you may remember the Dancing Water show that used to be in the corner there. Essentially, at the lower part of this picture is the Frontierland building, and then the green outline will be the new hotel that kind of bumps right against the Trader Sam's area, the monorail pool area, and the convention center area.
Thank you, Jeremiah. So like I said, we'll be talking about that more during the Laughing Place podcast. The other news from the week is 2 more theme parks have opened in North America. Unfortunately, they're both on the East Coast. That would be Epcot and Disney's Hollywood Studios. Jeremiah, you have had the lovely opportunity to visit there. Why don't we start with a little bit of talking about Disney's Hollywood Studios. I'll show a few pictures that Jeremiah, again, was lucky enough to get. You can talk about the pictures. You can talk about your experience, whatever you want to talk about.
That's when I was flying over the Disneyland Hotel. So, and I drew this little green outline. That's where the,
Wow, you walk really fast, Jeremiah.
I'm not even flying anymore.
Whoa.
Go back
around the horn. Go back around.
Oh, there we are. Okay, we're on bet 2. So Star Wars Galaxy's Edge did open with the park. Both attractions are open. There was a little bit of a change from the pre-opening announcement of a few weeks ago that there wouldn't be the virtual queue for Rise of the Resistance. They did implement that. We're looking at the queue here where they put in more of the large barriers because the queue for Rise of the Resistance is pretty tight. So essentially, you get the virtual return time. You can log on to My Disney Experience at 10, 1, and 4. You get a return time as soon as your boarding pass or boarding time comes up. You can head into the attraction. I logged in right at 1 o'clock, and I was called up to service to help Rise against the First Order at 3 o'clock, and done with the ride by 3:40. So as soon as you get in there, you walk through the queue. They put large barriers, the plexiglass barriers we've seen in some of the other attractions, throughout the areas that are tight in the queue. When you walk into the briefing room, they assign you a number, so there are only 6 parties per briefing room. And the briefing room is where Ray and BB-8 give you pretty much the lowdown. Once you leave, there's the briefing room, and you can kind of see the numbers in the background with the guest on it. When you do leave that, you go out into the holding area before you get on the transport. They have the same numbers for guests to stand on. When you walk into the transport, again, the numbers are all there. So you go to your specific areas, all set up perfectly for social distancing. When you are brought aboard the Star Destroyer, you're yelled at by the First Order officer on how to get off the Star Destroyer, and then they take you right in. For the ride itself, it is only 2 parties per cell. As I was with my group, I was 1 party, and then there were 2 other guys on the other side. So I walked in, stood against the far side of the cell, and they stood in the front area of the cell to give us the social distancing space. As soon as the Resistance blows open the wall so we can get on the ride, everything is normal from there.
Jeremiah, the times are going pretty quickly. Are the same little tips and tricks from before when the ride was opening, the queue was opening really, really early for the virtual queue still in effect, like don't log in, all those kind of things?
What I did, I definitely logged off the Wi-Fi because, as we know, I think Mike can definitely back this up at Disneyland. The Wi-Fi is usually one of the killer things of the app because it's all about your internet connection or your speeds, and the Wi-Fi is usually not the fastest. I logged in at 1 o'clock. it's not like it was prior where there's a whole individual screen for it. I had to bounce in and out of the join the queue a couple of times, and then right at 1 o'clock I jumped in. How many in your party? You select how many people, you go, and it gives you a boarding party number. And the nice thing about the new system is it gives you an estimated wait. I think for me it said I had about 3.5 hours originally for my estimated wait, and again it only took 2 hours, so it was nice.
Like the carnival parlor trick, which 200 pounds or whatever. So,
exactly. I didn't win the stuffed baby Yoda.
But you didn't have to like close out the app and do all the song and dance like you had to before?
No, I feel during the downtime they definitely improved my Disney experience. It'll be interesting to see how Disneyland does it with their app when Mike heads over there, and sometime in the near future.
What are the shops like there? Are they open? Are they crowded?
So the marketplace is kind of like going to a smaller store. They only let certain parties into the marketplace area. And then once you're in the marketplace area, that's the entrance to the marketplace. They have the rope. They have the cast member with the, clicking off the people that are in the marketplace or out of the marketplace. Once you go in, each stall only permits one party. So if there's somebody in there, you wait in the queue, and then they'll send you in to do whatever you need to do. It's nice for somebody like me who knows, okay, I need to go into the Toydarian shop to get a Sabak card set, but there was a family in front of me who had never been there, so they're walking through this little shop just looking at everything going, oh, this is great, where I was in and out in 2 minutes, they were 7 to 8 minutes. So I mean, again, we can't complain because we're back in the parks, we're lucky to be there, but they're definitely a learning curve. For Rock and Roller Coaster and Star Tours, I see you jumped onto those. They have, well, Rock and Roller Coaster and Tower of Terror, I should say, they've shut down the pre-shows. So you are walking directly through the pre-show. There is no Aerosmith, loving that idea, or Rod Serling and the guy doing the voiceover. Thank you, Shelley. To keep you in the pre-shows, you just stroll right through, head into the load areas. And both here at Rock and Roller Coaster and at Tower of Terror, they have some of the barriers put up where it's needed.
So you also got to go to Epcot, and I love some of the pictures you sent from there. First of all, like actual changes. It's fun to see stuff happening at the parks.
Yeah, that's a funny one because that was something I walked through the temperature and the security check. And I saw those and I took this amazing picture and I'm like, yeah, I can't wait to tweet this out. And then I believe I tweeted it out this morning at 11 o'clock my time. Yeah, I know. Sorry, I was a little excited to head into Epcot.
You are now the head of the they have the water fountains higher and lower. You only get the lower ones.
Okay, that I don't mind that because that one usually has the higher water pressure. Shelley can talk more about Epcot.
Yeah, it was definitely great to be back in the park. We ate at the Garden Grill restaurant over in the Land Pavilion, and it was really great to see all of the characters kind of peeking over the area between the higher seating and the lower seating. I think I said it was like a neighbor like peeking over the fence. And we definitely had a good time hanging out with the gang. And now when you go, since you can't get their autographs, they give you a really cool card that has their signatures on it. There it is. So we had a great meal. It was a lot of fun. I think you showed the characters are still in the park. It's just a little bit different. You got the Epcot mobile with Mickey and Minnie and Donald and Goofy. Donald and Goofy were out in front. And we saw Mary Poppins back in the place where you can also see the piano lady. So, I mean, it's great because the characters are still there, and it was a lot of fun.
I love this picture. Welcome back. We missed you. That's so awesome.
We were on Living with the Land and saw that, and we both were like hitting each other like, look!
That's like a real sign. That means that came from the sign shop. So
yeah, they went through with that. That's not just a temp thing.
And then this was really exciting, the fact that map's changing, stuff is happening.
Yep.
Ratatouille is coming. Very excited for Ratatouille. So that was the good news coming out of Walt Disney World this week. The not so good news, or even better news, depending on your point of view, was they officially announced the closing of 3 attractions. Jeremiah or Shelley, you guys can take it from there.
Well, the 3 attractions.
Actually, Shelley, can you take it from there?
The 3 attractions that are closing are Stitch's Great Escape, Primeval World, as well as Rivers of Light.
Doesn't Rivers of Light have a new name? Rivers of Light.
We go on.
We are.
Yeah, that's right.
We go on. We are one.
We are none now.
I know we are none. Yeah, it's I mean, it's one of those things where we knew that Rivers of Light had some issues from the get-go, and they had reworked it and done a lot of stuff. I didn't mind the show. I thought it was a nice way to end the day, kind of like hanging out with your friends, watching a fun show. I mean, Stitch, that's been seasonal for quite some time, and Primeval World, you either love that ride or you didn't enjoy that ride.
I truly love Primeval World. It's just that you can do it at any fun spot around the country, but it is a fun ride. A little scary for some of my friends, unfortunately, but it's pretty fun.
One of the other things, I know we talked about it a few days ago, but they also, in the Epcot experience, and we had the official announcement, statement, not statement, yes, that the Spaceship Earth shared story is right now on hold, and the Mary Poppins overlay that was going to go into United Kingdom that we never heard really anything more about after D23 was also kind of just put on hold.
So those aren't canceled that we're aware of. They just postponed them, and they even in the statement in the impression we got from Disney even attributed it to current situations, but not necessarily canceled forever, right, Jeremiah?
Correct.
Question for you, Mike.
Yes.
Favorite Mary Poppins character?
Say it again. I'm sorry. You cut out.
Favorite Mary Poppins character?
I like the guy who shoots the cannon at the top of the next building. That wacky fellow.
Admiral Boom.
There we go.
Good answer.
I don't wait. What happens? You know how like when they're all in the house and the cannon goes off and they all like go over to the vases to stop the vases from falling? What happens when there's only like one person in the house at that time?
What happens at 1:00 at night? Big Ben goes off all day long and all night. So does Boom get up there and yell at his little first mate to fire the cannon at 1:00 in the morning?
I'm going to posit that it would not be pleasant to live next to that man.
No.
Mike with the logic errors in Mary Poppins. So one of the things we're doing today, excuse me while I kiss this guy. One of the things we're doing one more thing I wanted to mention from Disney World, the cultural programs, the cultural representatives. Jeremiah, you can do this one.
Cultural representative program is on hold indefinitely at this point. That was one of the things that both Shelley and I noticed when we were walking the World Showcase, seeing just cast members that we would see down the street at the Walgreens in their red and white Epcot shirts, working every attraction, and in the restaurants and shops was a bit different.
That must be weird. Do you still try to speak Norwegian to him, Jeremiah, just to see?
It
Yes.
was awkward. It was real awkward. I mean, it loses some of its charm without them.
Sure.
It's definitely a different experience.
Yeah. In fact, when you were in UK near the tea place, we wanted to figure out how it was pronounced, and there was no one there to ask. Luckily, there was someone on our stream who was able to tell us the correct pronunciation, according to her, is Twining's tea. I don't necessarily believe her, but that's what we'll go with for now. So one of the things we've been doing throughout this marathon is showing some of my favorite Disneyland commercials. I've allocated space during this show to show a couple more, maybe 3. I'm going to show one right now, and then I'd like to get you guys maybe to talk about some of your favorite Disney commercials of all time, Disneyland commercials of all time, if you have any, or just rip mine apart. So here's my number 9 and my favorite Disneyland commercials of all time. Very good, Jeremiah. Promotion.
Force has unleashed the runaway mine trains on Big Thunder Mountain, but every day, Big Thunder strikes. Big Thunder strikes. It could only happen at Disneyland.
Best part of that is the fact that it's Wednesday through Sunday. But
Wow. I don't think I've ever seen that commercial.
seriously,
Big Thunder strikes.
so
I like that it's
One
like
of
a
the-
ghost train, and the train's like spirit arrives at the station before the train like pulls in.
it would have
That's
been
cool.
from 79 presumably, because open Wednesday through Sunday back then. It wasn't even open every day. So when we launched Laughing Place August 1st, 1999, one of our first 3 articles was called Big Thunder Strikes, and it was about someone's love for Big Thunder Mountain. That was the first time I heard the phrase, and then he told me where it came from, and I went and sought out this commercial, and now it's among my favorites. Do any Disneyland commercials come to any of you guys' mind when I say Disneyland commercials?
Shelly, your favorite?
I grew up in the South, so we didn't see Disneyland commercials, but
Disney World?
that we saw tons of Disney World commercials. I think the thing that I always took away from them was I always just wanted to go, and I'm trying to think if there was one that I was like glued to. I don't know.
I always think of the Disney cruise when they came home with their little souvenir.
Oh, there's oh god.
A little edgy for Disney, but it's pretty funny.
I just remember seeing that and going, oh.
Yes, if you take a Disney cruise as a couple, you have your own souvenir 9 months later.
No. It's like, you
Never
see what
done
it
that.
does.
Now that you mention that.
Gideon. Mike, what about you?
Well, I remember some recent ones that I really liked. Hopefully, I'm not spoiling anything that's coming up on your list there, Doobie. But I liked when they brought back the Main Street Electrical Parade and they went inside that big warehouse, the like archives, and they got all the stuff from all the extinct attractions all over the warehouse, and they're taking the Main Street parade floats out of the boxes and stuff. That was cool. And then there was one where they had the song from Frozen, the first time in forever, I think, and they had all the characters were singing it all around the park. I remember the Yeti was singing it from Matterhorn, was singing that song from Frozen. You guys remember that?
No.
I don't remember that one.
From the
Great.
first time in forever. That was a good ad. We could probably track
Tony,
that one.
the 50th with all the characters heading to Disneyland, that may or may not be on my list. By the way, I love that little avatar down there. Is that you, Tony? I want to know. Can you even tell the difference? Is this identical?
Doobie, did your head shrink? Like, my favorite commercial. Doobie, what was number 10? I'm sorry, I didn't see it earlier. You don't have to play it.
The live-action villains Halloween time.
I thought that was the bonus one.
Now, the bonus one was 40 Years of Adventure.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. My favorite goes back to before one of the worst parades that's ever been created that still haunts my dreams at Disneyland, the Christmas parade. But the old Christmas time at Disneyland parade was one of those ones that in my head, still to this day, I just keep. It's Christmas time at Disneyland.
Yep. That perhaps made my list as well as the one that Mike said, the vault one. I can guarantee you that is a favorite of mine. Mike, Of what?
Oh, I thought I sent you the link to that commercial. The
Oh,
first
really?
This is
Yeah.
Mike's
No,
entry into the top 10 commercials.
Sorry. I unfortunately can't play it. These are all things I've previously uploaded. So
I see. Gotcha. Okay.
stream. I wish I could, because that would be. All right, here's my number 8. You ready for my number 8?
All right, let's do
Here we
it.
go.
Yes.
We came in station wagons, campers, on planes, to see what Walt had built. And what we found was a place that was always growing, but never grew old. And now comes a celebration 60 years in the making, the Disneyland Diamond Celebration, with dazzling new experiences for the young and the young at heart. Come remember that feeling. Come feel forever young.
Yeah, exactly. That's only 5 years ago, but whenever they go back to nostalgia, yes, that one. Whenever they go back to nostalgia, it just there's a phrase for it that the young people say that I refuse to use, but it's very appropriate. It gets you in the different F word. I can't. The feels, okay? It gets you on the feels. I hate that term.
Doobie, shouldn't that have been nostalgia?
Oh.
How low can we go? What's below the kids' water fountain? Let's see. Nice
Thank
here.
you,
Someone
Amy.
It's my cousin. Yes, everyone that watches this are people we know. We have no actual viewers. Let's see. I've got one more commercial to show you guys. We'll do my number 7. Go.
No, you should have turned left at the pyramid.
Hey, we're gonna miss the anniversary. Maybe we should dog paddle, eh?
Whoa! Sure you got everything you ready? Come on, hold your horses!
And we're back.
You
I
missed the
forgot
end.
about that commercial. That commercial used to play on the Magic Express every time I would come to Walt Disney World.
But it was a Disneyland commercial.
I believe it was a One World.
Yeah, that played over here too. Yeah.
That is definitely. Go ahead, Shelley.
No, I was saying I got excited when I saw it because I was like, I remember that one.
It is so cool. They really do their best work at the big anniversaries, I think, as opposed to just. Although I think the next one is a holiday one. See how time goes, but so those are my top. I've got 6 more to go, leading up to my favorite, which may or may not be one that Mike Celestino already mentioned, because I think that's every Disneyland fan's favorite. That was just seeing that commercial. See, that's going to play when there's not really a chance to talk about it. So I feel like I want to talk about it now. Seeing that commercial for the first time, you're like, what Disney annual pass holder did they get to create this? It was just this may not be the one commercial, but I'm going to play it anyway, just because it's so cool and I've got you for here. So ignore the first 4 seconds of this, where it may or may not say it's number 1.
So
Yes,
has somebody
I got goosebumps.
has somebody gone through and enumerated all of the little Easter eggs? I'm sure they have.
Oh yes, that
Have we
when
done
that
that on
commercial
Laughingly?
came out, we picked that thing apart. Like any Disney fan that could freeze frame was pulling every picture from that. I mean, my favorite is Sam Eagle head just floating in the background. I mean, it's not floating, but mounted.
Yeah, that's like the Doc Ondarsden of antiquities of Disney parks.
That's exactly what I was thinking, Mike. Exactly, word for word. Yes.
I don't know what it is about. I hear that song and I'm just like, I instantly like just get happy. I love that.
Oh yeah, that's what it's designed for. That would be. We didn't do our favorite Disneyland songs of all time, but I think if we did, probably that would be number one. Maybe behind Small World, maybe, but I think probably number one. What do you guys think?
Do you think Small World would be at the top?
No, that was sarcasm.
Okay.
So, which kind of segues a little bit into our next segment. So, later on today, let me get an exact time for you. At 5:45, we're going to have our 65 top Disneyland attractions of all time, as ranked by the Laughing Place crew.
Except Shelley.
Except me. I'm only honorary.
She's honorary. So, but the other three of us, man, how do you get used to doing that? Never. The other three of us did rank it, and so I'm not going to spoil that. Unlike I may have just spoiled the commercial countdown. I'm not going to spoil this countdown, but I did run.
I think people are going to tune in just to watch that commercial again later. So good.
That's a good point.
I might Google it and watch it in between.
Amy used to be my cousin. Now that she posted that, I'm going to change my mind.
No, Amy, I agree with you. Like, I'm making an It's a Small World themed Christmas tree. Like, I'm making all my little It's a Small World ornaments and everything.
Oh,
Shelley?
Yeah.
Aren't you Jewish?
Well, I get to celebrate because Dave's not. So I'm like the Hannah Montana of holidays because I get Christmas and Hanukkah.
That's a great question. We should reverse that, I think, maybe. Hi, Jeremiah. So there our top 65 countdown. I'm not going to spoil it, but I did run some numbers. So Jeremiah.
Oh, we're moving with Mike.
Sorry, I got to grab something for a future segment. I left it in the other room, but keep talking.
Hey, Mike. Solo. This is creepy. Mike's top 10 and the group top 10 had 9 attractions in common. There was only one attraction in the group top 10 that Mike didn't have in his top 10, which makes Mike very, very ordinary. Jeremiah, on the other hand, only had 6 that matched the top 10, which I think makes him a little strange, actually. I also had 9 of the top 10. I had a different one that was out different than Mike.
What was yours, Doobie? Oh, we can't say. We're not saying.
We can say. Mine that was in the top 10 for me that wasn't in the group top 10 is Jungle Cruise.
That's also mine, though.
No, that was yours. I'm reading wrong. That was yours. Mine was Pinocchio. Pinocchio's Daring Journey.
Doobie often confuses himself with you, Mike.
Tobacco Road. Tobacco Road. Jeremiah had 4, so I don't want to ruin all his. I'll ruin 3 because there's 3 that no one would have guessed would have been in our top 10. Adventure Through Inner Space, America Sings, and the Submarine Voyage. Your top 10 was whack, Jeremiah. And
wiggity whack.
Wait, Jeremiah, would you have ever gone on Adventure Through Inner Space?
Yes.
You did.
I went on it quite a few times. I have a vivid memory. Sorry to jump off, but it is a Disneyland memory and a nerd alert time for a banner. I have a memory of running down Main Street to go to Adventures Through Inner Space for my first ride of the day and turning the corner and seeing this.
Continue.
Seeing this big wall that teased Star Tours is coming, and I will definitely say that I was a little heartbroken because Adventures Through Inner Space, as Doobie and I have discussed, is probably one of the most meaningful attractions in Disney history without people understanding that if it wasn't for that attraction, we wouldn't have most of the attractions we have today.
I have a question about Adventure Through Inner Space. So I've learned this now editing this video of the top 65 attractions, but the name of that ride, the word through is spelled THRU, which is the incorrect spelling, but it's used frequently in the 60s, as I found out through Marvel Comics and stuff. But look at Mine Train Through Nature's Wonderland, they spelled it THROUGH. So what's up? What's up, Disneyland? Why you being inconsistent?
Through is the tomorrow version of the word.
In the future. Yeah.
That's a great answer. So yeah, I said Pinocchio. Kyle, though, the one that really got to me is Kyle, our colleague, who will be a part of the podcast later. He only had 2 overlaps with the top 10, and among his personal top 10 were, well, first of all, Smuggler's Run, which is just insane. That's bad, right? Let's get that out of the way. But the Frontierland Shooting Gallery.
Wasn't his excuse he doesn't like spare quarters? Wasn't that what he said?
Yeah.
Hey, we could ask Shelley what her top 10 Disneyland attractions are, since
You had time to do that, right?
Yeah, no. I didn't go to Disneyland until 2013. That was my first trip, and I avoided almost everything I could to let the first trip wash over me. So I'm a newbie-ish to Disneyland, but okay. So my top 10. Okay, I would have to say Jungle Cruise. It's a Small World.
Thankfully, not
Storyland Canal Boats. Pinocchio's.
So far, 0 in our top 10.
Do you have it with you, Mike?
I know what my number 1 is. I would have to say Monsters, Inc.
Not at Disneyland.
That's the other park.
Sorry, that's the other park. Oh, I know what my number 1 and 2 would be. That would probably be easier. My number 1 would be Alice. My number 2, yes, I love. 2 would be Canoes, because I love the canoes.
You're worse than Kyle.
Oh.
But I like spare quarters.
You've had no overlap with our top 10. None.
Mr. Toad, Snow White. I think I got one more.
Have you heard of Space Mountain, Indiana Jones, Matterhorn, any of these?
Oh, yeah, Indiana Jones, Matterhorn.
Giving away our top 10.
I like dark rides. You know what it is? I'll tell you what it is for me about Disneyland. To me, I think of Disneyland as like a big old hug from Walt. Like, I can ride roller coasters and do, so Jerry knows what's up. Jerry knows what's up. So, like, Disneyland is a big hug from Walt. And you can ride roller coasters, you can do all these things, but like those little charming little nooks and crannies and those little everything.
You understand that most of those that you listed aren't a hug from Walt, they're a hug from Tony Baxter.
I know they are. Let me have my moment.
But Tony Baxter basically channeled Walt. He's the closest thing we have to Walt for your generation. You're the old one, Jeremiah. But the closest thing we have to Walt for this generation.
But to me, it's that charm. Like, I look forward to like doing the itty bitty little things at Disneyland. Like, here I go, like I park, you jump and you do whatever. But like, I slow down at Disneyland, sit, have a good time.
My all-time favorite wasn't on the list, but I think Napa Rose probably is my favorite Disney. That is
so good. So good. That's gotta be up there. But that's in the hotel. But I would put that in my like top.
Shelley, you missed the comment, I'm guessing.
I did too.
No, I didn't see.
Kyle and Shelley.
Well, sometimes your comforter doesn't fit in your washer at home, so you have to go to the washroom. So you need a quarter.
So our next show isn't until 4:30, which is 13 minutes away, and somehow we've covered all our topics here faster than I wanted. So I'm going to show some more commercials because I was later in the marathon. But, hey, you got time, huh?
You didn't do the things that you told me we were going to do in the stream about
What did I
Disneyland.
skip? What did I
I don't know.
skip?
It was the outline of.
No, I'm going to close with your stuff.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, don't worry. I'm saving that to kind of because that's coming up later in the show. I haven't forgotten
Fair
you.
enough. Thanks.
All right. Never forget, Mike. You're my favorite LPer. You know that.
I appreciate that.
Other than my son. Number 6 in Doobie's commercial countdown. I don't even notice a difference, frankly. It's like you're there, you're not there. Who can tell?
Very, very, very Merry Christmas. It's Christmas time at Disneyland.
Mickey's Nutcracker show is keeping everyone on their toes. It's a nutcracker that's just a little nutty.
Celebrate
Don't miss the magical Very Merry Christmas Parade.
at Disneyland.
Come to Disneyland now and catch the Christmas spirit early.
Very, very Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Christmas time at Disneyland.
Were there dancing columns in the parade? Was there like a dancing column?
Yes, the columns were walking.
Okay.
I have another question about the. I have another kind of observation about the top 65 attractions. So
Sure.
a lot of the ones in the lower, the lower like 15 that ended up at the bottom of our list are many like older attractions that are no longer around. Do you think that they ended up at the bottom because none of us ever got to experience them, or do you think we would have them around the same area if they were still around today?
I'm pretty sure Jeremiah did get to experience them, so I wasn't. Yeah, but Magic Journeys, my wife loves. I think if some of us got a chance to do Magic Journeys when we were younger, as Jeremiah did, maybe he disagrees. Not to give too much away, but the one that really surprised me was flying saucers. I mean, I feel like people talk lovingly about the flying saucers until Luigi's Flying Tires came around and they realized it wasn't nearly as much fun as it looked. And that's how they figured it out. So I don't know. That's a good question.
I never got to see Magic Journeys, by the way. That I could tell you the story of Magic Journeys, but I didn't see any of the 3D films until Captain Neo came about.
No matter what, the Pack Mules, Conestoga Wagon Stagecoach was not going to be on our list. I'm pretty sure of that. So we've got a comment from our live stream. I can't pop those on the screen like I can. Never mind. Some I can pop on the screen, some I can't. So I'm going to read this one from Donna Pendleton. She gave her top 10. People Mover, Skyway, Peter Pan, Dumbo, Pirates, Jungle Cruise, Inner Space, Buzz Lightyear, Autopia, and Bobsleds. That is a solid top 10.
I think Autopia? 2 of those are in the top 10.
For sure. Yeah, Autopia is a little weird. Buzz Lightyear is a little weird, but solid top 10. She also says the saucers were wonderful and Luigi's were too large. So we got cheated on our flying saucers, apparently, and they are fun when you can do them right.
I always had a good time on it. Apparently, I'm in the minority here. This is why I'm honorary.
I don't think I never did flying tires. Did you, Jeremiah?
Yes, I did flying tires right when it opened, when they still had the little, originally when it was designed, they had a control that you could turn that was supposed to help spin it, and it never worked. And then they disabled it, and then they took it out. It was supposed to be the air valve for the tires, so it was really well themed. But yeah, it never worked, and nobody could ever understand that if there were two people in the tire, you both had to lean one way or another to make it work. So everybody would just be sitting there like, why isn't it doing anything? Because you're not working together.
You gotta lean into it.
Yeah.
How long were they doing the beach balls thing? Because I don't think I went on it a few times, but I don't think I ever had the beach balls. Was that?
I want to say that was just maybe the first year, because they would start to bounce really far. Like I can remember seeing them bouncing out of there when they first opened.
Let's see, I'm going to do another one. Let's get 5 of my commercials out the way, and all we'll have left. Get 6 of my commercials out the way, and all we'll have left is my top 4 for the rest of the show. Here is Doobie's. Well, it'll tell you. Why am I announcing it?
Lights!
check.
Snail.
Right. Got it.
And a dragon.
Oh, yeah.
Cool, Dad. Whoa. Coming, honey.
Hey, the real Main Street Electrical Parade is at Disneyland every night beginning March 30th. But hurry, it's the farewell season.
I could have made that.
You're right.
That right there. That is why I hate the Main Street Electrical Parade.
You and Tony.
Because you made that?
No, I loved the Main Street Electric Parade when I was a kid and would go to Disneyland. And then when it was going to glue away forever, I went, okay, I'm going to make a special day and go see it a couple of times. And I was supposed to be there on the very last day. And I was there on the very last original day before they extended it for like another 3.5 years.
But you're not bitter.
No.
Light magic.
Everyone has Light Magic, The Replacement, the great show. Show that one off. One season. But that sign at the entrance was awesome. Mike, I didn't forget about you. Mike has some stuff coming up later today.
And my mom's watching the stream in New York, and she's like, why doesn't he ever get to talk? That's really good.
I know. I'm sorry, Mike. Let me think. Mike, what's your? Oh no, I couldn't ask that one. That'll blow it. What's your favorite land?
My favorite land? Well, I think you'd probably expect me to say Galaxy's Edge, but I really love Adventureland at Disneyland, even as small as it is. What's that?
What's one? If you could choose one Yesterland attraction to ride, what would it be?
Oh, the People Mover, for sure. Never got to go on it at Disneyland. I did Rocket Rods a bunch, but I moved out here to LA in 98. So People Mover was already closed.
What is your dream Star Wars attraction?
Ooh.
I would love to see a ride through Dark Ride that's less immersive than Rise of the Resistance. Something along the lines of like a Pirates of the Caribbean, where you are seeing like scenes play out with animatronics, like you go through all the different planets or whatever.
That is exactly. Sorry to jump in, Mike, but the Pirates of the Caribbean from Shanghai, like that's all I want is them to use that technology for Galaxy's Edge for something amazing. Don't say it, Shelley.
And then one more. This segment, by the way, brought to you by Mike's mom. One more for you, Mike. Your favorite Disneyland food?
I can't eat a lot of the food at Disneyland, but I used to really love the Monte Cristo sandwich at the Blue Bayou restaurant at Pirates. Back when I could eat gluten.
So, Mike, since we never get to talk to you,
it's my own fault. I'm not saying it's your fault. I'm just naturally reserved, you know.
Oh, look, there's two mics now. What's coming up?
Picture ready to go, and I went all the way in the other room to get this book.
I'm prepared, man.
Okay.
Talk about it.
So, yeah, I chatted with this guy, Cole Horton. He's an author. He's written a bunch of Star Wars reference books, including the ones that I'm showing in that photo there. And then that's the same one that I've got here. It's kind of like a meta look at that book. But, yeah, there's a nice, like, 35-minute interview where we talk about his history with Star Wars and writing and stuff. And that's coming up later on in the big live stream event.
Anything at all you want to preview from it? You know, something?
Biggest surprise coming out of that interview, when you're thinking about the guy who wrote the book on Batuu and Galaxy's Edge, how much time would you think he had spent in Galaxy's Edge total ever, if you had to guess?
Months. No, I mean probably like 2-3 straight weeks.
Yeah, he had been there once ever during the preview, the reservation period. He went to one of those 4-hour things, and that was after he wrote the book. So that's a preview of that interview.
You really sold me on that one, Mike.
Wow, can't wait. All right, so we've got about 3 minutes here, and all of a sudden we've got 2 topics. So we're going to do this one. Popcorn or churro style? Just quick, give your answer. Everybody. Jeremiah.
Oh,
churro.
Of this question on the screen.
Oh. I never went on Superstar Limo. I'll say Mr. Toad.
It's definitely Mr. Toad, and I had been on both.
Mr. Toad for sure.
Yeah, they're both awful. And then Jeremiah, you wanted to talk about light magic. I'll give you 90 seconds for light magic.
90 seconds about light magic. Light magic may not have been what we needed to fill the space of Electric Parade, but it was an amazing show. I was there on the annual pass preview night that destroyed the show. I don't want to mention any names that may have taken over the internet named anything. But it definitely, if it wasn't for the birth of the internet, I think Light Magic would have had a longer run. It had great music. If you've not heard the music, go listen to it. Yeah, it was.
The music is phenomenal. No argument.
Well, it was the second Street-tacular because the Lion King had the stops, but Light Magic was amazing. And it had the characters in their pajamas. It was so cute.
What's not to love about that? The music was great. I completely agree with that. Okay, Mike C., your mom is bugging me again. So tell me.
Yeah, laps. This is so I used to see this guy around Disneyland and Disney California Adventure, and then I read a newspaper article about him in the Orange County Register, where they talked about how he was just going and riding Radiator Springs Racers over and over again in Cars Land. And I was like, why? Why would anyone do that? And then I contacted him through Facebook at the time. This is probably like 5 years ago now, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. And I asked him if he wouldn't mind me shooting a documentary about him. And we interviewed him. He came in and did like an 1.5-hour interview. And then I followed him around the park for a couple days. And then I just took that footage and I sat on it for 3 or 4 years because of a combination of what I like to call laziness and busyness. And then whole lockdown happened, and I was like, hey, what a good opportunity for me to maybe sit down and edit this movie together. So I did that, and I'm very proud to have finished it finally. And you know, now when I run into John, I won't feel shame and guilt for not having finished the film, because I used to see him again at like D23 Expo or at the parks and stuff, and I'd be like, John, I still owe you that documentary about your life and your many years spent riding Radiator Springs Racers. But yeah, that's going to be at 8:00 p.m. Pacific time, right here on the Laffy Place Disneyland 65th birthday celebration live stream. And then afterwards, we'll do a Q&A with me and John Allen Hale. You can ask him questions, and I'll ask him questions too.
All right. Well, thank you guys very much. I see now our next show is ready to go. That's going to be an interview with Dave Bossert. He is going to be talking about his book, 3D Disneyland, which I should have had a picture ready for, but I don't. But it is really never before. You know what? The interview's coming up. Shut up, baby. Here we go. Thanks again, everybody. Mike, Shelley. Yeah, thanks everybody for being a part of the show, and we will talk to you later.